I don't know how many bikinis she's brought, but she's letting us see them all.
People are finding all of those heartwarming campfire chats a bit boring.
It's not the sexiest place to fall in love either, is it? By the dunny.
This is playing well, right? People are talking about it.
You cynic!
The press tour is never ending. It's been going on for years and I'm so sick of it.
It's a fix.
It's a fix.
They could just
background.
chat GPT it.
That's incredible.
exactly.
I don't think anyone in Oz is eating a steak bake.
I mean, come on, this
But
is
it's
show
a strange-
business.
It's a
This is what it's
strange
doing,
tactic,
you know.
isn't it?
This is Showbiz Fix, your destination for the inside scoop on all our celebrity exclusives and the lowdown on everything you're loving this week. On Saturday, it's back to Blackpool for Strictly Come Dancing, and we'll deliver our verdict on Wicked for Good ahead of its release this weekend. But first, let's dive down under for I'm a Celebrity's latest. And I'm a bit sad, guys, because I feel like it's not quite landing the way that it usually does. The ratings, for example, haven't been particularly brilliant. The chatter is people are finding all of those heartwarming campfire chats a bit boring. Colin, what do you think?
Well, I mean, perhaps inevitable when you've got... I mean, Jack Osborne was sort of seen as like the big ticket, wasn't it? Oh, Jack. Everyone, I mean, a lot of people, when Jack was announced, were thinking, oh, he's going to be brilliant. And then he sort of said, well, I'm not going to be talking about my dad. And you sort of thought, okay, like it's been 3 or 4 months, but we'll see. But also, as you think, well, it's quite difficult for you to go on that show after 3 or 4 months. They had quite an intense relationship. I think it took about 8 minutes for him to talk about his dad. And now he's talking about his dad, and now he's feeling so sad about his dad. Of course he is, that they're worried about him. So this is kind of, it's kind of like a bit crazy, you got to watch what's going on there. So that, I mean, when somebody is talking about a family member who is no longer with us, that's not kind of party time, is it? So it's quite an interesting one for I'm a Celeb. So that will kind of naturally bring the bring the mood down, but it's more of a somber conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than someone talking about wild nights out the head or this, that, and the other. I mean, he may move on to that because obviously he had an amazing relationship with Ozzy. So I mean, it's just interesting looking at it that from perspective. But you've got, you've still got Kelly Brook there doing her thing, and we know what her thing is. I don't know how many bikinis she's brought, but she's letting us see them all. 6 bikinis. We've seen a few already, and some of them are suitably tight. But the thing of I'm a Celebrity, it's the same every year. I know you talk about the ratings and say, oh, the ratings aren't this, ratings aren't that. I'm a Celebrity, and the time of year it comes out, it's like Christmas, right? It happens every year, and we don't really want it to be that different, right? You want you want Christmas to have all these certain feelings. It's warm, it's this, and you get together with everybody. So it's kind of reliant on what that cast is going to bring to us. So they're like the presents. What are you going to get this year? You're going to have your turkey, which is so we're eating turkey, they're eating a kangaroo's anus. But who's around the table, and what have they brought us as a gift? What's the contribution?
Yeah.
One thing we can guarantee, like your main gift is often the one that you ask for, so you kind of know what it's going to be, and that's Ant and Dec. So whatever the ratings may be, whatever the contestants are doing, at least you've got them. They're funny. We like them. They do obviously script a lot of their stuff, but it's really funny, and we see less of them these days. So it's great to spend some time with them. Their bromance is kind of as strong as ever, and their cheeky jabs. And because it's on a bit later at night, they can get a bit more kind of like cynical and cheeky
after hours.
Yeah, exactly.
What I think is interesting though, Colin, is you used to do my job. You were on the TV desk, so you were writing about I'm a Celebrity. How many years ago?
God, well, I mean, you were about to go to Amir in Australia. I think I was looking back when I was there. It was 2007 and 2008 were the 2 years that I was over in Australia. But look, the show, like when they're doing the whole look of it and sound of the show is exactly the same. It kind of like takes me back there. And the clothes are the same. What they cleverly, and it's cleverly it's just happened. They've not changed the look of the thing, and the look of the thing is the kind of consistency. It's like, right, we know what we're gonna get, and it's all down to the cast.
Yeah.
So you can always think to yourself like, oh, this would be a great cast member. I remember when Noel Edmonds was on it, and I thought, wow, that's great because he's mad. and he's going to say some crazy things.
Yeah.
He was rubbish.
What did
I think
you
he was out
think
first.
of Noel?
I really liked Noel. I mean, that's a blast from the past. I know you're saying that they're not making any changes, but I feel like they really have this series. You know, the entry, we were talking about this earlier, like the entry credit, you know, the stars, the way they're all positioned. We've got a waterfall, which is now, as soon as you go in, it's a waterfall is like the first thing we see. And 2008 till 2024, it's been this same opening credit. And I do feel like we've had the eating challenge really early. We've had, you know, the pictures from home so early as well.
That's true.
And I just feel like there are little changes being made that I'm just, like, for me, it's like, if it's not broken, don't fix it, you know?
But you're right. I mean, but that's kind of like tiny little tweaks.
Yeah.
The format stays the same.
It does.
And I think that's the crucial thing. If they suddenly decided we're going to do something completely different, we're going to vote in a different way, we're going to be living over here and standing on our heads and wearing different clothes. I mean, if it looked and felt a lot different, people would. I would panic. I'd be like, well, hang on a minute. This is all about the stars. It's like the canvas should stay the same.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? And it's a tough job. If you're an ITV producer and you've got a big bag of cash and you've got to think, I want this person on, and it's not just like, can I get them on? The key, that's part of the battle. The rest of it is, can I get them on and do what I want them to do?
Yeah, well, there's new arrivals coming, so that will keep things moving. I'm going to have a chat now with Amir. So here's our man down under. Here he is. Amir, how are you coping with these late nights and early mornings?
It's all good. I've got into the swing of like having about an hour's sleep in the evening and staying up till 2, 3 o'clock working, sleep again for a few hours and watch the show. So it's not too bad. I'm sure I'll have a massive come down when I'm flying back to England. But yeah, that's in a couple of weeks still.
Well, spoiler alert, it's winter here now. We're all freezing. You're there in your T-shirt. You spoke to Vogue Williams and Tom Reed-Wilson before they entered camp. What have they got planned and how are they going to shake things up?
Yeah, so they're going to be the new leaders of the camp. So they'll be in charge, be able to like delegate chores to all the other campmates. And they're great. So we spoke to both of them a couple of days ago. And the interesting thing is like having them together, you wouldn't necessarily put those two together. And Tom, I think he's going to be brilliant. It'll be really interesting. He's going to go in there and it'll be the poshest bloke in the camp instantly. I'm looking forward to seeing like the dynamic with him and say H, because it's a bit upstairs, downstairs in a way, like it was with me speaking to Tom as well. But I think he'll really get stuck into making relationships. And I think Vogue, she's going to be causing a bit of trouble. I think she seems well up for going in there and she said that she wants to go in there and cause mischief, traitor style. So that'd be interesting. Good. Another interesting thing was, weirdly, so there were separate interviews and Tom actually said something similar. He said that he's going to have to channel his inner Alan Carr when he goes in to be able to lie to the other campmates. So they both want to play a similar game.
It's almost like they had a chat about what they were going to say in their interviews.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd never guess. They obviously don't know who's on the show, do they? But
yeah. No, Amir, you're there. You know what's going on. I have to ask you: do Kelly and Jack actually hate each other? What's going on?
Oh, God, yeah, it's a weird one, that, isn't it? Because I've spoken to a couple of people who are working on the show, and they feel like Kelly's trying to wind him up a bit. I think because it obviously blew up with this stuff about Kelly was cutting some potatoes with a knife and Jack said to her that she was doing it wrong. So they had a bit of a Barney over that. And then last night's show, Kelly was going to cut up some eel, which was a lovely bit of dinner for them. And then they had another sort of hoo-ha over the chef duties again. So and Kelly sort of apologised, but she was clearly quite emotional about it all. But then it seemed like she was trying to push his buttons a bit on last night's show. So, yeah, people do reckon that it's only a matter of time until something blows up between them. So it'll be interesting. That's definitely one to watch. I feel like they just need to clear the air, really, and have it out a bit. But we need something like that. We need a bit of spice. That's what's lacking.
Absolutely. I think that we're calling it Potato-gate, apparently. And I just think it's because we're reaching for some drama. We're desperate for some drama. What's coming up, though, for the rest of the week?
The next few days, it's going to be all about Vogue and Tom being leaders of the camp. So basically, we went for a tour, me and a couple of other British journalists last week, of the camp before the show started. And they had this new leaders lodge designed. We went and had a look around it, and it's opposite the sort of main campsite, but they're elevated. It's much nicer. They've got mattresses, mosquito nets to stop them getting bitten in the night, a nice private toilet instead of a dunny. So, but they're overlooking them. They've got a tannoy to sort of bark out orders to people as and when they feel like it. So that's going to cause, like, I think that will be when they're all a bit hungry after being in there for nearly a week. That's when we might get a bit more, spice among the campmates. Because I remember last year it got brought in, and I think it's Barry McGuigan and Danny Jones who were the camp leaders. And Jane Moore, she got put on washing up duties, and she accused them of being sexist and ageist, and that was a bit of a storyline that emerged from that. So I think it's a twist that they'll need to get a bit more going, because I think that's really what's lacking. We need like a villain like Dean McCulloch or something like that who's winding everyone up. But that's what makes good TV, isn't it? You don't want them to be sat around chatting, sharing nice stories. Some of them are really interesting stories that we've heard so far, but also, that's not the only reason you watch the show, is it? You want them to have Barneys and
we want more
fireworks to go off. Exactly.
All right, Mir, we'll let you go back to sleep. Thanks for calling in, and we'll see you next week.
Nice one. Speak soon. Bye bye.
See ya. This is my fundamental problem with this series of I'm a Celebrity, is I think that they think we want that lovely happy campers that we all liked during the pandemic. You remember that Welsh series in the castle?
Yeah.
We need a Lady Colin Campbell.
We do.
We need a Kim Woodburn. The Gillian McKeiths. I think at this point, it's nice hearing people sat around sharing lovely little stories, but I think people are desperate for some drama.
Maybe Ruby Wax, though. I feel like she could have a side to her. I find her quite difficult to read. At first, I was like, she's got such dry humour, hasn't she? But I'm kind of waiting. I feel like it's only a matter of time with her where she might suddenly,
Yeah.
And I do feel like, with the Kelly and the Jack thing, we need more of that kind of thing, because everyone's saying on social media, aren't they, that the campmates are too nice. Like, I don't want them to get on. I want them to all, like...
But this is the thing, we're early days.
We
and
are.
the great thing about this show, and with all these kind of like chuck some celebrities into a kind of, a tiny environment, is that it's the tiny little things that will go boom. Like, I was just talking about washing up gate. I mean, God, washing up gate, if you said that to somebody in the pub, say, I was watching a TV show the other night and somebody was washing up, so they'd be like, shut up. Oh my God, who's this boring bloke? Who brought him? But actually, when you're watching the thing, you're like, God, my God, she's done this, he's now saying that. And you get really intense, you get really involved in that sort of thing. And so it's from the tiny acorns, you go, bang, that's what you want to see. Like, I know what you're saying about like your Kim Woodburns and the people who arrive with big personalities and who are kind of naturally abrasive, and you think, right, they're going to rub up the wrong way. But sometimes the best drama comes from where you least expect it. I think back to when I first covered the show back in 2007. There were two characters on there. And there was this guy called Mark Bannerman, who was an actor, and he was one of the DeMarco brothers in EastEnders, if you remember them. And then you had this woman called I can't remember her name.
Cerys Matthews.
Cerys Matthews, that was it, from Catatonia, who had sort of like a #1 hit and the rest of it. And she was this kind of like Welsh woman who was sort of into like, arts and crafts and kind of weird music and this sort of thing. And he was this sort of like bit of a geezer, But they started like flirting with each other. He had a girlfriend on the way out. I don't know if she had a partner or whatever. And they got together. And it was this kind of weird romance. It was like love across the divide. You never would have expected this. And it was just riveting. And it kind of got everybody on the edge of the seats. And again, that's nice. No one's slagging each other off. But also it's kind of like, you can't quite believe it. And also he had his girlfriend flying out, this woman called Sarah. We had to get her to the airport. And she'd been on the flight for 24 hours. And we had to say, oh, by the way, since you've been on the flight in 24 hours, your fiancé has basically been trying to get off with some girl from a pop band.
But that's what we're lacking, isn't it? This series. I feel like H might be the hunk of the series. He's like the eye candy. But we don't have like the potential for a jungle romance. I can't think of anyone who, Ruby Wax obviously fancies them all, but I can't think of anyone that could get together. Because personally, I love that on I'm a Celeb. That's what I watch it for. Like the potential of like something maybe happening, off screen or whatever. But I know what you mean.
I think they've given up. I think they've given up trying to create romance.
Yeah.
Because that's a really hard thing to do. You can manufacture a row fairly easily by just, turning people against each other. We've had rich camp, poor camp. We've had all these things before, which have been designed to sort of ratchet up the tension.
Big Brother style.
Exactly. But you can't force people to sort of like, especially in the glare of all that, I'm sure you've been there as well, but there's cameras everywhere. It's a film set. It's not the jungle. So you know that people are watching you. So if you're going to have it away with somebody that you shouldn't be or whatever, you're just not going to do that. And everyone's really conscious of how they look. And that's the thing. It's a bit like, was it I remember who said it now. Was it Mike Tyson who said, everyone has a plan until you punch him in the face? It's that kind of thing. So people go, I know how I'm going to behave. And then all of a sudden it's like, you haven't done the washing up. I know, I'm furious about that. And you weren't planning to be furious about you didn't have a washing up plan. But now all of a sudden that's the thing that's going to drive you mad and make you look like great TV. And when people come out and say, oh yeah, you're the washing up person. You say, I don't want to be the washing up person. No. Hey, you were good TV.
Yeah.
Got you angry.
It's not the sexiest place to fall in love either, is it? By the dunny.
No. It's not
Sexy places to fall in love though. Strictly Come Dancing.
Absolutely. With
Let's
Blackpool.
Yeah. So this weekend we've got Blackpool, and then the following week they've flung in another new dance challenge. So Strictly are constantly mixing things up this series. So the new dance challenge is called the Instant Dance Challenge, where they have to draw on everything they've learnt so far. They've got 10 seconds to find a costume that fits the random dance style they get given, and then go dance. To me, I think this will anger the Strictly fans. What do you think, Lottie?
I think it sounds absolutely chaotic. Like it sounds like a recipe for disaster. But they've done similar things in the past, haven't they? They've had like a similar format. But I think this is the first time they've ever done this. And Dancing on the Stars have done it. But I feel like it... I think Shirley said it, or one of the judges have said it. We've got such strong dancers left in the competition. Like I've never seen anything quite like it. It's all to play for. So I think it really will highlight who the best one's going to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
it's a fix.
It's a fix. It probably is a fix.
I think it's a great idea. You got to keep them on the toes, as it were. Because otherwise, you can sit in there thinking, like you said, there are some great dancers on there. There are people who literally are professional dancers, and you sort of think, well, when they're going to do their dance, you can say, well, I don't know what it's going to look like necessarily, but I know it's going to be good. And then they're going to go to the judges, and they're going to be hyperventilating, going, oh, you were brilliant, you're amazing, this and that, 10, 10, 10, whatever. And it's kind of for the next 3 or 4 minutes when I see one of these top stars, I just think I'm going to be bored. Get me onto someone who's going to mess this up or try this challenge. And they say, put them on the toes, get a bit of bead of sweat on the head and say, you haven't practiced this, bang, off you go. Have you got the chops? I mean, that probably never happens in the dance world. There's somebody on a cruise line and suddenly say, quick, you got to come on and do the hokey cokey. It's like, that's not going to happen.
They literally have 10 seconds.
But let's just ratchet up a bit. That's my problem with Strictly. It's so predictable.
Yeah.
And I know people want a bit of safe TV on a Saturday night, and it's like you sit around with the family and it's all glitzy and this, that, and the other, and everyone's nice to each other. But that's getting a bit boring. I think, it's like after a while, it's been on what was it, 21 years or something that Tess has been doing it. You think, God, it feels like that. It really does feel like. I think I can see it in her eyes. I've seen it in her eyes for the past 3 or 4 years. She's bored to tears of it. She's just going through the motions. She's been dialing it in. The judges are dialing it in, and everyone is kind of bored. I live for the scandals that you guys dig up about what's really going on. And that's because it just adds another element to it. Maybe that's the kind of viewer I am, but I do feel it's just become incredibly safe. It needs to be mixed up, and if it takes something like this to do it, I'm all for it.
Do you still watch Strictly?
Do you know, this is the first year we haven't really watched it. So my daughter usually loves it. She's 12 now, and she loves dancing and doing all this stuff, and she loves, they don't really know who these stars are. They don't really care. They just see lovely people in lovely dresses dancing and all the rest of it. But even there, I think even she is kind of got a bit sick, probably got it from me, but sort of thinking, well, we've watched a few episodes. Obviously, we dip in, and I just think, I know what they're going to say, and I'm not saying it's a bad show, and it's a worthwhile show putting on, but come on, it wouldn't kill it to just to amp it up a bit.
You love Strictly though.
I absolutely love Strictly. For me, I'm like the opposite. I like the same thing. I like the same format again and again and again. Like it's so feel good. It's like the run up to Christmas for me. Do you know what I mean? But having said that, this is the first year since I've been watching it that I've struggled. Like I don't know what it is about it. I think it's because they've got such good dancers. Like obviously Amber is incredibly good. Lewis, the most amazing dancer I've seen on the show personally ever. I just feel like I like it when there's a story, you know, someone who's really started off and they're not that good and then they've kind of been the underdog, almost like Vicky. I was so sad to see her go because I thought she was suddenly doing so well on the show, and then they've got rid of her. But I just feel like now it's become quite predictable. Like, I think Lewis or Amber are probably going to win, you know?
Oh, I don't think the viewers will let them win.
Do you not think?
Dance experience. What are all your... So, Lottie, you're massive on TikTok. You've got lots of Strictly fans that follow you on there. What are they saying? What are the streets thinking about this?
They're saying at the moment, I think the biggest comment that I see is that George Clark is being treated terribly, apparently, by the judges. Like, people are saying that he's been given the same song choices over, like, these kind of TikTok friendly song choices, almost in a bid to like corrupt him and to get him off the show. And that Craig just constantly underscores him, that the judges are kind of trying to get rid of him. But why would they want to do that? You know, I don't know.
Well, you said this, Colin, didn't you? You feel like you know exactly what Craig will say, what Shirley will do.
I mean, it's not just what they're going to say. I kind of know exactly how they're going to say it and how they're going to gesticulate while they say it, where their arm's going to go. So it's almost like, you know, Bruno perfected this sort of like theatrical thing. They've all nabbed a bit of it over the years, in making up for his departure. And I don't know, it kind of leaves me cold. I just don't feel like they're obviously professionals. They know what they're talking about, and they can say, like, you did this foot out wrong, blah, blah. But I think when you get to about week 6, they start dialing up the praise, and then you've lost me, and it just becomes like a bit of a pantomime. Like, you know, it's very, like you say, it's very predictable. And if the dancers are predictable, if the dancers aren't going to fall over or do something silly, you just know they're either going to be really good or amazing. Like, then you're like, well, what's the point here? Like, you'd be better off just watch the results show. Sometimes I just watch the results show. Give me 30 seconds of the dance, less than that. I get it. I could see where that went. I don't need the full thing.
Someone said this to me actually earlier this week about the results show, because I know there's a lot of debate about whether they should just sack that off completely because of all this results strictly spoiler nonsense. And they said without the Sunday show, there wouldn't be a platform and a place for the amazing pro dance, which I think is such a valid point, because actually people more than ever, I think, are watching strictly for the dancing.
Can I be honest though? I never watched the results show ever. Like, I don't know why. I find it quite boring. What
are the ratings? I mean, maybe is that a pattern of behaviour?
Resilient. Sometimes the results show is higher than the main show.
And you know why? That's because everyone watches the show on a Saturday night. Because we will do that occasionally. We'll put the results show on, and I say you get so maybe there is a case to smash it all together on the Saturday night. If you're the BBC, you want to squeeze every last drop out of it. You're all in the studio. It's costing you a fortune. Let's get 2 shows out of it. That's what they're doing at the moment. I imagine they're sitting around saying there's some leaks here, there, and everywhere, but.
But they've really dragged the results show on now, haven't they? This series, it's like an hour long, and then they kind of cram the result in right at the very end. And I just think it's
Colin had a good idea though about the results show. You think that not the results show, instead of Blackpool, where did you think they could air it from?
They just do it in the studio, don't they? Because when I first started watching this show, it was kind of like, there was just lights. And, you know, it was just, there it goes, lights and, you know, and you dance around and the glitter ball might go on and woohoo. Now it's just this kind of like AI 3D world. So why spend all the money going to Blackpool with all these trucks outside some ancient building? Just turn it into Blackpool and a thing. It makes no difference to the viewer. We hold these people, you know, mincing around Blackpool, having a stick of rock and sort of say, oh, God, you know, it's like the old days. I don't know. But the number of people that can remember the good old days of the Blackpool ballroom, there's few of them left. Yeah. And actually, they want to get the younger people in. They want to get, you know, you and your TikTok crew into the show. And they don't know anything about Blackpool.
They do amazing sets as well, don't they? They could so easily just AI Blackpool.
They could just chat GPT it.
That's incredible. Exactly.
Or take it to a nightclub or something. You know, take it to the drum sheds in Tottenham where all the young people are dancing around in the afternoon.
But I'm a Celeb's just been slammed, hasn't it, for using AI in one of their recent challenges.
Well, that was just the voiceover. I think
was it?
Yeah, everyone got a bit het up about
Yeah, there were so many comments about that. So I feel like
give
the
it 5 years and petrol will finally won the day and you won't be able to use any of these insects and they'll just have to pretend. It's like, who pretends to be covered in insects the best? That'll be the challenge. You went a bit early there. We didn't say go.
I would love that. I would tune into that.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, something that I won't be tuning into is Wicked for Good. Now, I fully declare here that I didn't really enjoy the first. I shan't be bothering with the second. But Colin, you've watched it.
I watched the premiere. I took my aforementioned daughter to the premiere down the Yellow Brick Road in Leicester Square. Took over half the square. I mean, it was an incredible event. They were all there and all the rest of it. I think it's a great piece of movie making. The story, I think that I'm not mad on musicals, but I was kind of humming the songs when it came out. It's beautifully filmed, beautifully made in Britain, by the way. I mean, it's off some studio off the M1. They all had to live over here in the freezing cold while they filmed this magical land of Oz, where everyone's doing all the things. And so that's great. So it's a great bit of British achievement. There's a lot of love going into it, and I know a lot of people were thinking, oh God, they're turning a sort of 2.5 hour musical into a 5-hour film. Can I sit through all this and wait 2 years for the privilege? Well, actually, I think most fans would say, yeah, absolutely. 100% happy to live in that land. And yeah, is it perfect? No. But I think it's a great film, and it's a great film for all ages. And, well worth, we need people to go to the cinemas. There's hardly anyone going to the cinema anymore. And it's this kind of stuff that will get people into the cinema and to say it's great for business. It's great for Britain. And Cynthia is amazing. You just can't take your eyes off her. And it's that proper big screen experience. Wherever she's on there with the green face, whatever she's doing, you're just absolutely captivated. And myself and my daughter, and there's 35 years in age gap between us, but we were both sitting there going, she's amazing. And now people are saying, give her an Oscar. I agree.
I feel like what I've seen a lot more of is all of the drama surrounding the press and the promotion, as always. Lottie, why are they so emotional all the time?
Well, that's the question that everyone wants to know, and no one knows the answer. And I think the thing is this press tour, I agree with a lot of what you've said. I think it does drag you to the cinema. It's a really good film for families, but the press tour is never ending. It's been going on for years, and I'm so sick of it, to be quite frank. Like, I don't mind the film. Like, when I watched it, I thought it was really good and it was really feel good. But I just think Cynthia and Ariana are acting really oddly, and I can't put my finger on why. And I think a lot of fans are taking issue with it. Like, people are saying it's trauma bonding. They're crying in interviews. The way they're walking down the carpet, even, it's a very strange vibe this time around. And also, the press tour we see it on social media and everything everywhere, but it hasn't been as big as the other one, and people don't know why that is either. And Olivia Attwood's actually come out, and she's done a video on TikTok and very honestly just slammed it and said, I hate Wicked. And for some reason, it feels like quite a taboo thing to say. You feel quite nervous to say it because it's so big. But I'm probably with you. I don't get it. I don't get the hype. There's so many random products and brand deals, isn't there, that we were talking about earlier?
So this is what I take exception with. It's why do we need a Greggs Wicked range? I don't think anyone in Oz is eating a steak bake.
Well, Ariana Grande is not eating many steak bakes. So I was about 3 feet away from her on the red carpet. She needs a hot meal.
Maybe she likes a yum yum instead.
Maybe.
Look, they're both very talented. I mean, to the point about their strange behaviour. I mean, like, this is a publicity tour, right? And they're two actresses who are at the top of their game. And this is playing well, right? People are talking about it.
You cynic.
I mean, come on. This is show business.
It's a
this is what it's doing,
tactic, isn't it? To be all
there might be some of that. I mean, you've got a child star who has basically, like you say, been through the mill, and all the things that have happened with her, the concert we know about, and all these things. There has been some genuine trauma in her life. And actually, it's weird because I was quite rude about her in the review, just throwaway line saying she does look kind of dead behind the eyes in Wicked, and she's sort of, it is this sort of kind of blank expression on her face, which I found really weird in quite emotional scenes where it's her eyes sort of don't give anything away. So maybe there is some darkness, there's some things going on there, but Cynthia's playing up to it very well. She's an EGOT, isn't she?
She is.
Cynthia. So she knows the game.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to be an EGOT at her age without playing the game well. And it's a publicity tour is, can we get some publicity? If you just go out there and say, nod and say, yeah, it's great, please come see the movie, it's really wonderful. It ain't going to go anywhere. We know this. We're sort of in the game as well. You've got to, as I always say, it's that old saying, like, don't sell the sausage, sell the sizzle. And they're selling the sizzle. And sizzle might be, why is everybody... We're sitting
all
here talking about it.
No, I know. It's so true.
It's like if you can't do a fomance, Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney style, do this weird...
trauma bond.
By the way, Cynthia, she's not got an Oscar yet.
Oh, she's not, right.
One away. Okay. This could be her moment. Now I'm desperate to know what you're both binning and binging. Lottie, you go first.
Right, so this week I am absolutely binning MAFS, Married at First Sight. I've just absolutely, I feel like I've been completely sold a dream. I've put so much time into this series and none of the couples have stayed together apart from 2 of them, right? So we've got Abigail and John still together. All the rest have broken up. There's been cheating scandals. There are 3 big standout moments from the series. So we had David taking Kia on a date to a cat cafe, and Kia absolutely hated it. It was the most weird, awkward scene I've ever seen on TV. And that was like the turning point for their relationship. We had Julia Ruth and Joe's massive secret holiday scandal where they got secret tattoos. These are 2 people that weren't in a couple together. And then they like went off to Lanzarote together. And then Stephen being exposed for being on a dating app, which was absolutely wild. This series has just been littered with dating app scandals. It's been just people cheating left, right and centre, couple swaps. And for me, I'm binning it because I want at least a few of them to get together at the end, you know? We've put so much time and commitment into it. No one's together. It's a bit of a waste.
It's almost like none of them really wanted to end up married.
It's almost like they wanted to be on it for a different reason.
They just wanted to be on the television.
What are you binging?
I'm binging the Vanity Fair cover. They do a Hollywood edition every year. And wow, if you want to get a bit hot under the collar, it is.
Oh.
I've never seen anything quite like it. So I'm
Lottie, you're 9 months pregnant.
I know. Maybe
we don't want you hot anywhere.
Maybe this is why I'm loving it so much. But let's go through the list of the incredibly good-looking and obviously talented men.
Obviously talented.
Talented is, you know, the key word here. So we've got A$AP Rocky, Glenn Powell, Austin Butler, Jonathan Bailey, Jeremy Allen White, Michael B. Jordan, Andrew Garfield, Paul Mescal, Callum Turner, to name a few. I mean, there are so many sexy hot men on this cover. There have been a bit of, you know, a bit of backlash online saying, where are all the women? Because the strapline is, let's do it for the boys. But we've had women on Vanity Fair, loads, like every year. So it's time for the men to have, you know, their moment, I think. So
we can have a themed ensemble sometimes.
Exactly.
We'll let them have one cover.
It's worth a look. I'll tell you that. It's worth a look. If there's one thing you do today.
Right, Colin, what are you binning?
I'm binning what I've binged.
Oh.
So it's a double header.
Oh.
So I'm going to rip it now. I've chuck it in each bin. And
Go.
I'm probably a bit late to the party, so forgive me. I'm not being as immersed in the showbiz world as you guys, but girl bands forever. Right?
Okay.
So start watching girl bands forever. Love boy bands forever. Watching the girl bands forever. And I'm enjoying the story. I was enjoying Melanie Blatt talking about this, tearing down the Spice Girls, all the rest of it. And you get into the Sugar Babes, quite interesting. The guy from OMD was behind the Sugar Babes, didn't know that fascinating fact. Really enjoying some of the stuff in there. And then I'm getting towards the end of it, and then I'm getting a bit bored of Mel Blatt, and I'm getting a bit fed up with her being cynical and like, you know, sort of like she's just this kind of hatred of the Spice Girls seems to have kind of ruined her life. You know? She can't stop talking about this band that were better than her band. And then you get into Little Mix as well, and they are just. They're always moaned, Little Mix, and my God, they're moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning. It's like, hang on a minute, like, is this program just about how bad everything was? And I know kind of that it does look at the dark side, which we like, but my God, Little Mix seems to sort of start and end bad. And I remember interviewing them the day after they won the X Factor final. I sat down there with these tiny little girls and I thought, right, and they were all excited about going off into this world. And then I thought, because as normally happens in our place, as you know, like when the TV people, we cover it until they win, and then the showbiz lot take over and they chart the decline of their pop career, which is always what happens. And Little Mix, obviously, they kind of bucked the trend a little bit, and they went off and they did their thing. But my God, they were moaning. And I was just getting fed up with the moaning. But while I was getting angry about how much moaning they were doing, I was thinking, wait a minute, where on earth were girls allowed in all this? Now,
yes.
Because Sugar Babes, they had some tunes, but they're a kind of dreary bunch, weren't they? They were kind of miserable at every turn. They're pretty miserable in the whole thing, you know. I know that part of their look was like, here we are. Moody, kind of moody. I'm not, we're teenagers. But yeah, they were dreary. But Girls Aloud had a little bit of spark about them. And I'm thinking, you know, okay, the Spice Girls didn't want to take part in this documentary, but they feature writ large, mainly through Mel Blatt slagging them off. But they're there, and there's lots of shots of them and their contribution. But you can't tell the modern girl band story of Britain without Girls Aloud. And I thought that was a mistake. Now, I looked into it, and it sounds like the girls thought, well, hang on a minute, we're still a thing. I know, obviously, things have happened, but we're still a thing. So if we do this documentary, it looks like we're talking about the past. And when we're still a thing. But I think you can do both. Would it could, was Nicola busy, because Cheryl not have popped in for 20 minutes and said a few things, positive things, whatever? Could they not have contributed? And then it would have helped producers tell the story. I'm sure maybe producers got so fed up that they wouldn't engage them, so we'll drop them all together, which I thought that was a mistake. So I thought this is something I was looking forward to and I was enjoying, and then my enjoyment tailed off towards the end. So I binged it, but now I'm binning it.
Fair. So I am binning, for all the aforementioned reasons, Wicked.
Fair enough.
For me, it was the Le Crusoe collaboration. I've had enough. Bridgerton overdid it. You could buy Bridgerton everything, and now it's Wicked. Can we not just go to the cinema, buy a few nice things, the PJs, a cup here, a Stanley mug, that sort of thing. A Le Crusoe set. Who is going to watch Wicked and then also having the money for that? Binned.
Madness.
I'm binging. Now, this is quite niche, but it's called Millionaire Holiday Home Swap on Netflix. So this is like Selling Sunset without the fake messy bitching, with actual incredible housing. So huge group of rich people all across the world put their second and third homes up on this website, and you essentially go home swap. So you've got people swapping their villa in Thailand for the safari lodge in Cape Town. These people are all so rich, they're looking for things in the kitchen like the bowl for the caviar. Or they're moaning because there isn't any, luxury creams in the bathroom. It's so insane. They're all so rich, they've completely lost their minds about what is normal to expect. And it's amazing. The property porn, the people, it's this perfect binge watch, and I recommend it.
I'll watch it.
That sounds right up my street.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I get annoyed about is a lot of these Selling Sunset and Owning Manhattan or whatever, which I also loved, is that the first series, there's lots of houses, and then they start to. It's like they think you care about these characters, and so you get more character and less property. No,
I do care about them personally. I'm so invested.
It's
I love
all
the drama.
so fake. It's unbelievable. It's like, okay,
true.
fine. If that's the way we've got to get into these houses, then fine. But don't keep shoveling it in. With it's oh god.
Yeah, Millionaire Holiday Home Swap. It's brilliant. I thought it was going to be a bit like Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz in The Holiday. I thought that's what we were getting, but I got so much more. So
that's good.
Put it on your list.
That sounds great.
It's on the list.
That's your Showbiz Fix for this week. Remember to leave your comments for us down below. And don't forget, you can subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss your weekly Showbiz Fix. And you can hear us in your ears wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.